Welcome to the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. Brought to you by Blue Sky Business Consulting. We discuss 5 questions in about 15 minutes. Hello again, everyone, and welcome. We're glad that you could take some time to join us for the podcast today. Happy Thursday to everyone. And I'm pleased to welcome our guest today. This is Melissa Allen. She is the co-founder of Active Life and also the Kovr Sunscreen product. And she's out of El Cajon, California. Melissa, thank you so much for taking time to join me on the podcast today. What would you like the audience to know about Active Life and especially your product, Kovr Sunscreen?
Well, thanks, Sean. First of all, thanks for having me on here. Active Life Company has been a passion project for my husband and I, Lonnie, who's a veteran. This came about after our dog inadvertently discovered skin cancer on top of his head.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That was probably not the greatest discovery to find then.
No, but thank goodness we caught it early. And I mean, we wouldn't have thought twice about it. It looked like an ingrown hair, but our puppy was just so obsessed with it, made us look closer. And I said, well, you should probably go to the dermatologist. It couldn't hurt just to get the check, and ended up being basal cell carcinoma. And, they were able to remove it successfully. And thank God, Yeah.
Yeah, no kidding. Well, thanks to the dog as well
Yep.
for
Yep.
a little extra attention there. What a great story.
Yeah.
All right. Well, great. Thank you for sharing that quick little story there. Let's
No
get started
problem.
with our questions for today then. So, Melissa, as you've been building your business, is there a challenge that you've overcome that you're especially proud of?
Yeah, I would say that the biggest thing for us was figuring out how to fund this all ourselves without taking on outside investors. I think that question faces a lot of new entrepreneurs. It sounds great to bring in outside money, and maybe it is great for some, but for us, I just didn't think that was the right answer. This was a new business for us. I've been in business for myself, but in other areas and service companies. So this was a product business, and I knew I had a lot to learn doing it. And I didn't want to have to be accountable to investors. I saw that as just another greater stressor than coming up with the funding on your own.
I really like that answer because you touched on something that a lot of entrepreneurs don't always think about. And that is the fact that it's great to have the money. And you just said this, but there is some additional stress when you're dealing with investors and people that are interested about how their investment is going and doing. So, yeah,
Exactly.
I think that was a smart decision. Good for you. All
Thank
right.
you.
You're welcome. Question number 2. How can leaders help to foster creativity within their team or company?
I think creativity within a team happens when you value other people's opinions as equal to, if not greater than your own. I mean, we can't all know everything, right? Sometimes you see a small could be an aspect of it you hadn't thought about, or it could be something huge that was like really obvious to everyone but you. I found that happen sometimes with graphic art in particular. But I think that's the most important thing. Just I always speak to a lot of people. I have a lot of good people around me, and I always like just run things past them and see what kind of feedback I get.
Oh, I think that's a great idea. And you're right. When we value and then kind of open it up and make it a safe
Mhm.
place for them to share, people are willing to share their ideas and give some feedback. I
They
think that's,
are.
yeah, I love that approach. That's great. Question number 3. How can leaders help the team members to trust each other?
I think within a team or within a company, some of the best policies are just practicing honesty, integrity, and taking the perspective that there is more than enough for everyone. I don't think we need to see this as our glass or our cup is half empty. I try to see everything as our cup overfloweth.
Yeah, I like that kind of that abundant mentality. And
Exactly.
really thinking about, hey, we've got plenty for everybody. Let's learn to trust each other and we can all help each other. I think that's awesome.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. Thank you. I
Great
mean,
approach.
I just found that it's really true.
Yeah. No, it is, and you're absolutely right. If we learn to trust each other and have that abundant mentality, and it kind of goes along with that previous question about creativity,
Yeah.
because it really helps everybody work together a lot more harmonious
Right.
and
Yeah.
they're a lot more productive that way. So
Yeah,
great answer.
definitely.
Yeah, great
Thank you.
answer. Thank you. All right, and then question number 4. Is there maybe an experience you've had that maybe initially kind of thought it was a loss or a failure, but you turned it into a win.
Yes, this may sound a little bit complicated, but I was very interested in the world of government contracting. I've always heard good things about it. I tried this route before in some service related businesses, and it wasn't as obtainable with the service company as I thought it should be with the product company. So selling goods to the federal government. And because my husband's a disabled veteran, there's certain certifications that the government has to do certain set asides to do government contracting with disabled veterans, more so than any other group out there. So I thought that was going to be huge for us. But what I discovered was one, it's very complicated getting into it. And we went through a lot to get certifications in place for him, which we did ultimately get. But the thing was, I wasn't able to secure any government contracts for sunscreen. But ultimately, it forced me to look at other lower organizations within government. So unlike the federal government, there's also, I shouldn't say unlike, but there's federal, there's state, there's cities, there's local municipalities. So what I discovered was I was able to do some business with local municipalities, which they weren't even on my radar before, you know? So really
Uh-huh.
any organizations that work outside would be a candidate for sunscreen because you want to protect your skin. So I
Sure.
discovered local water municipalities are really kind of a sweet spot for us.
Wow, that's awesome because you're right. We don't often see other opportunities because, and I don't think it's a bad thing, but we sometimes get a little bit focused on kind of that
Hmm.
big whale, if you will, and we kind of that's where we
Yes.
zero in, and we don't realize that there's some other opportunities. But I love that. That's a great example of turning a perceived failure into a win. That's great.
Yeah. Thank you.
All right, Melissa, our last question. Tell us a little bit about your first job.
Okay, my first unofficial job was probably cutting lawns, raking leaves, and shoveling snow back in Iowa, where I grew up before moving out here. And my first official job growing up also back in Iowa was Long John Silver's. It was part of the co-op program at school, so you got credit, for having a job where
Nice.
you go like at least part of the day or a couple days out of the week. And at that point, I'm getting like an official check. It wasn't getting paid under the table or something. So yeah, I think that was really good. That was my
Oh, that's
first like
great.
official job.
Yeah, nice. Hey, that's a great way to break into the
Yeah.
world of work. So
Yeah. But it
great.
also taught me I don't want to work at a restaurant. I found that harder than anything I've ever done. And I've worked in a couple others since, but restaurants are just not for me. I have the utmost respect for waiters and waitresses. It's just I'm just not good at that.
Well, I'll
you
tell
know?
you, I've had a lot of guests say almost the exact same thing. They'll start with whatever job it is, whether it's restaurants, whether it's cutting lawns, whatever it is,
Mhm.
and they either love it or they
Yeah.
find out real fast that's not what they want to do in life.
Yeah.
So pros and
Yep.
cons either way. Well,
Yes.
Melissa, this has been great. Thank you so much for taking time to be on the podcast today. And how can people find you?
You can visit us online is the easiest way. For a shortcut to our website, you can just go to coverup.com. That's KOVRUP.com. You can also find this on Amazon as well as Walmart. And then there's a new local organization here in La Jolla, California, that's launching actually this week, and I expect big things from them. Great group. They are called Purposer, PURPOSER.com. So they're right here out of La Jolla, and they're all about you have to be involved with some kind of purpose aside from making money. So maybe it's sustainability, maybe it's veterans, maybe it's animals, but everyone who is going to be related to their platform is going to be giving back in some way. So it seems like a great concept.
Yeah.
Jolene heads that up, and I'm excited to see what they do.
Oh, that's great. Well, I wish you every success with everything that you're working on. I think that's
Thank
great.
you.
All right. Well, thanks so much for joining us, everyone. We wish you all happy success in everything that you're doing and have a great day.
Thanks a lot, Sean. Have a great day.
This is Sean Richards with the Team Engagement Podcast, where leaders of teams share their insights. For more ideas, go to teamengagementpodcast.com. We also invite you to follow or subscribe to our podcast wherever you may be listening or watching. Is your business thriving? Go to tbs-score.com to find out. Thanks for joining us today. Have a great day.